Hey everybody, I'm Joseph, and today we're going to be talking about setting an Easter table, a holiday that I really love. And I'm going to give you some inspiring ideas of what to do for Easter. And one of the traditions that we have in our household is that we host an Easter egg coloring party. Sometimes it's for friends, sometimes it's for family. But we like to make a really lovely meal and have our family or friends sit down to do some egg coloring. And I often talk about home economics being a shared responsibility of creating a home and maintaining it. Our home is no different. Tony and I often share responsibilities or creative ideas when it comes to entertaining family and friends. And so today we're going to show you a little bit about how we end up planning for a party, this particular Easter party that we're going to host. And hopefully you guys will get some great ideas and maybe even be inspired to host your own gathering yourselves. So typically the process that we go through when we're hosting a party is figuring out what we want it to look like. So Tony and I will typically pick out some different ideas, talk them through, put down some plates to see what coordinates with everything. And for this Easter, I really wanted to do a blue and green theme. So I went to our local fabric store and picked up some different options of fabrics, light blue, teal, and also this fantastic flea market find for this vintage hand-embroidered tablecloth, linen tablecloth. So I like these three ideas. What do you think about them?
I really like this fabric.
Okay.
I love the dots and stuff, but
So I love that color too. And I was actually thinking that we have these beautiful embroidered napkins that have both of our last initials on it. And I thought that that would look really good. Let me grab some plates and try that with it. So I picked up these fantastic, again, flea market finds. They're just a light blue bubble glass dish. And I actually picked up these great felt pads to use as placemats. So I would love to try to use them if we can in setting the table. So I do love the way that looks.
yeah, that does look.
What do you think?
Yeah,
And the bamboo silverware.
yeah, that does look good.
Or we could do the embroidered. So this is going to be a little bit more plain looking with, I'm not sure I like that.
I like the placemat with that tablecloth.
You do like it on
Yeah,
there?
because I saw what I'm seeing is just the placemat on this one a lot. So I
Okay.
like this fabric, but I think if
I think this is really pretty. And we're also doing, hang on, let me show. So part of the centerpiece that I'm making for this table is I was inspired by these vintage and antique foil covered German paper mache eggs that are very old-timey, and I don't really have a collection of those, although I think I want to start collecting them. So I made some of my own in these shades of blues and greens, and my vision is to sort of stay within that color palette. So these are going to be the centerpiece kind of in this big glass bowl.
yeah, then I think if
And the
you're-
colors work really
yeah,
good with
they
that.
really do, because you've got that lime green or that green in there.
Okay.
the teal, yeah,
So that's
The
gonna
blue.
that's gonna be our choice.
yeah.
And then what about that with some eggs in
I
it?
love that.
I'm not loving that.
No. I tried this one. I mean, I like it.
That's
It does go with that, but
what about these? I think that's cute.
it's a good, yeah, I like that one.
That's super cute. And we might even be able to
Oh, I love
stack that.
that.
Okay, so that's sort of what we do every time we have a dinner party. So we've come up with the tablecloth that we want to use, a base place setting, and then we're going to go ahead and set our table. First, we're going to iron all of our linens because we do that every time we entertain. We're going to set the table. Tony's going to work on place settings. I will work on the centerpieces. And then we're going to fill in with the little sections for fresh eggs and the food coloring for dyeing the eggs. For this event, we are actually mixing up doing artificial dyes, but I also made some natural dyes, which are going to give a really beautiful hue to some of the eggs, a little bit more natural and muted that you're going to see in our tablecloth. But still, all of the egg dyes are going to revolve around blue and green. So we're not going to have pink or red or orange. This is going to be a blue and green event. Our menu is going to consist of a beautiful asparagus and creme fraiche tart on a homemade pastry shell, a crisp spring lettuce garnished with white strawberries, and also some amazing deviled quail eggs. While Tony is working on the tablecloth, I wanted to share with you guys how I am making the centerpieces for today's table. So we're going to have one large centerpiece in the middle because the ends of the tables are going to need to be used for the egg dye and our hard-boiled eggs. But I thought to add some interest to the table, it would be really cute to use these little colored cut crystal fruit cups and make little nests and put some of the quail eggs in them because we are going to be serving the deviled quail eggs. So I thought that that would be a nice tie-in to use it for decoration as well as what we're having on the menu. So I went and dyed some Excelsior. Excelsior is just a shaved wood packing material, essentially. So it's all natural, and I just using some RIT dye, hot water, and a little bit of vinegar. I soaked these in a big stock pot, and I did a light blue and also a teal color to coordinate with the rest of the table. And our centerpiece is just in this really great big glass-footed bowl, and I've made a nest of the dyed Excelsior. And I'm just using different sizes of these foiled eggs that I made, and I'm going to place them in there and stack them up as though it's a nest of eggs. A really simple idea, really cute to do. Doesn't cost a lot of money. It's a great project if you've got kids for them to work on. But it does add a nice impact, too, to the table. And you just want to vary your sizes. It's okay to stack some larger ones on top of smaller eggs. That's what really gives it some nice visual interest. I'm actually going to put the big one up there. Try not to stack too many colors that are the same near each other. And layer your nest. So don't just make it one layer. Build it up. And you'll really have a beautiful centerpiece. There, I think that's plenty. The other thing is these little fruit cups. All I'm going to do is take the Excelsior and almost like literally making a bird's nest, we're just going to, using your fingers, twine this in. I actually used this in the video when we were making fall wreaths last fall. This is the same Excelsior that I used in that wreath making. It was just natural, and I made bird's nests for the wreaths in that. But we've got a nice nest, and I like to really have volume to things that I'm using. So I like to see all of this texture to it, but you want to have enough in there that it actually fills up the cup and makes a really nice presentation. And then you're just gently going to lay your quail eggs on top. Look how beautiful that is. And that's going to go, this is going to get a place marker at everybody's place setting on top of their dish. So when they sit down, this is what they're going to be presented with. So it makes a really nice, thoughtful presentation, and it will make your table really beautiful. We have ironed our tablecloth. And it's important to note, this is a vintage tablecloth that I found at a flea market. So it's not going to be 100% because it's an older tablecloth. There might be a few little stains. This one was in really good condition. So I decided to buy it, and it wasn't that expensive. But, you know, be realistic when you're going to flea markets that you may not find things that are 100% perfect, but that's sort of the beauty of them. And sometimes your tablecloth, when you're using these vintage ones, they may come a little bit shy of the table, and that's okay for this instance because we're going to have the placemats on them, and I'm okay with that. If I was just setting a dish right on top of this, I probably would use a longer tablecloth. And one of the things that we noticed when ironing it that I did not notice when buying it is the embroidery was actually never finished. They got everything completed right up until these few flowers, and in one of these flowers was still the pin with the thread in it. So who knows what the story is behind that. But I love the tablecloth, and I think it'll be perfect for this occasion. One of the things that I always like to remind people when you're setting a table, bring your placemats down to the edge of the table so that you have the same look all the way around. Also bring your silverware down to the edge of your placemat along with the rim of your plate. This way it's all cohesive, it all looks the same, everybody's place setting has the same look, you don't have forks up here and down there. So it's a really easy way to be consistent about how you set the table. So these dishes we will actually use for serving the meal. The top bowl will be for the salad, and the bottom will be for the tart and the deviled eggs. But the little nests of eggs, look how beautiful that is. Imagine your guests coming to sit down at your table and it looks like this. These little nests of eggs are really just purely decorative. They'll be removed once we get the event going. This feels very plain to me on the table. So I want to give it a little bit of a rise, but also some interest underneath it, just to kind of catch your eye. So I've got this small little round marble dish that I'm going to set this on top of. It just gives it a little bit of lift off of the table so that you notice it a little bit better. And so we've decided to use these beautiful etched glasses that we have, which are Christoffel. So it's one of our better collection of glassware that we collect, but we do use them when we entertain. That's why we have them. And we're pairing that with sort of an avocado green mid-century small little glass. This glass may not actually get used on our table, but it really just adds interest again to invite people to sit down at your table. You want to make it as visually appealing as possible. The very first thing that we do is see things with our eyes, so it's very important to do that. So when we color eggs, We use both brown and white eggs. They both color really beautifully. They give you different shades between the white and the brown, but they will both dye, which gives it a really beautiful textural look to it when they're all colored laying out. And I've created these long boards of our dyeing liquids. So one's going to go on this end, one's going to go on this end. And in the antique silver cups are actually the artificial dyes. So we've got a blue, a teal, a green. And in the glassware, we've got the natural dyes. We've got a muddled green, which actually goes really beautiful with this sort of avocado color. We've got blueberry and then also red cabbage. And of course, Easter wouldn't be Easter without some Easter candy. So a really great way to finish off your table to make it look really beautiful. Fill up some little vintage glass cups. I've got some jelly beans here in the colors that coordinate with all of the colors that we're using. I loved these cute little foil blue and green and gold silver bunnies. So they are filled with chocolate, and those will go on the table. And I like to have little conversation pieces when I entertain, so I found these beautiful gold coins that are chocolate coins. So everybody's going to get one of these hidden underneath their napkin so that it's almost another level of surprise that when they pick up their napkin, they're going to get a little gold coin. And last, what we're going to add to our table are some little green dishes and some soup spoons. This is going to be a place that when people are decorating their eggs, they can set any wet eggs to dry on these dishes. And then we've got a whole tray in the kitchen for collecting their eggs. Everybody has their own tray for the eggs that they color. They will actually get to take their own eggs home. And but it just gives a nice, clean little spot for them to be able to put their eggs at. So here we have our beautifully presented table for Easter, our Easter egg coloring dinner party. We usually host this earlier in the day versus at dinner time. So about 4 o'clock, our guests will start coming over. And we will welcome them to this beautiful, fun activity and have a light, refreshing meal. This is a great way to prepare for Easter. Make a moment out of it. Do something creative, entertain your friends, and get into the spirit of the holiday.